Well, after an 8-year wait, he's finally back. Harvard symbologist Robert Langdon has returned. Dan Brown just dropped The Secret of Secrets, and you know what the big question on every fan's mind is? Is this a huge return to form, or is it a formula we've maybe seen just one too many times? Okay, let's dive into this and figure out if this is the thriller for you.
So here it is, the book itself. And at its heart, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect from him. We're talking a super high-stakes adventure that throws Robert Langdon right into a maze of ancient secrets. But this time, the whole thing is set against the backdrop of modern science, all in the absolutely mysterious city of Prague.
All right, so let's get right into the setup. What exactly is this predicament that kicks off Langdon's brand new mission in Prague?
So the whole story kicks off with Langdon in Prague, and he's with Katherine Solomon, a name you'll definitely remember from The Lost Symbol. But things go south fast. She completely vanishes from their hotel room right after a lecture, and just like that, Langdon is thrown into total chaos. He's a long way from home, he's up against these unknown forces, and to make it worse, he's being hunted by some mysterious figure tied to Prague's really dark history. And, in classic Dan Brown style, the stakes are as high as they can get. It's not just about saving Katherine anymore, it's about the future of all of humanity.
Now, what's really interesting about this one is the core theme. We're kind of moving beyond just the usual religious history and diving headfirst into the world of noetic science. The entire plot is built around this secret of secrets, this profound truth that's supposedly locked away inside the untapped power of our own minds.
Okay, so if you're a fan and you've been waiting for this, what does the book really get right? Let's talk about that winning formula and break down the parts that you are absolutely going to love.
You can really boil its success down to 3 main things. First up, the incredible way Prague is used. It's like a character in its own right. Second, you're going to recognize that super addictive, proven Dan Brown formula. And third, there's a fascinating evolution in the character relationships, which we're going to get into.
So let's talk about Prague for a second. The way the book uses the city's huge castles, ancient churches, and those winding underground tunnels is just brilliant. Real places, like the famous Charles Bridge or St. Vitus Cathedral, they're not just background scenery. They're actual crucial pieces of the puzzle that Langdon has to solve. It honestly feels like a theme park travel guide mixed with a thriller where the city's deep history and mythology are just woven right into the story.
And of course, the structure that made him famous is back in full force. We've got those super short chapters, and every single one ends on a nail-biting hook. We've got Langdon frantically interpreting symbols against the clock, and yeah, we've got those classic high-speed chases. It's a formula, for sure, but man, it's a formula that is just designed to be an absolute page-turner.
But here's where things get a little different, a key evolution. In the past books, Langdon's relationships with his female companions were mostly intellectual partnerships, right? Well, in this book, the connection with Katherine Solomon is way deeper, much more romantic. And that adds this incredibly powerful personal stake for Langdon. He's not just solving a puzzle anymore. He's fighting to save someone he genuinely loves.
Okay, so it all sounds like the perfect comeback for fans. So what's the catch here? After all this time, does that familiar formula still hold up? Or is it maybe, just maybe, starting to show its age a little bit?
And that brings us to the other side of the coin. For some people, that familiar formula might feel less like a beloved classic and a lot more like déjà vu. So let's go over a few points of caution.
The main critique is really just the flip side of what makes the book so popular. The very things that fans love, the chase through an exotic city, decoding ancient symbols, a world-ending threat, are exactly what critics point to as being, well, a bit formulaic. The puzzles and secret societies can start to feel a little repetitive if you've been along for the whole ride.
And some of the other criticisms point to a few more things. While the book gets into some brain science, it's often more about spectacle and trivia than a really deep dive. Some reviews mention that the characters, especially the villains, can feel a little cartoonish, a bit over the top. And then you've got the writing style itself, which can be pretty heavy on description and sometimes repeats explanations. Even Langdon's iconic quirks, like his Mickey Mouse watch, might just be starting to feel a bit tired for some longtime readers.
So now that we've laid out the pros and the cons, it's time to bring it all together. We're coming back to our main question as we get to the verdict. Is this book actually for you?
Okay, this little guide should make it pretty simple. You should definitely read it if you still get a kick out of that classic Da Vinci Code-style thriller. Or if you're fascinated by Prague and its whole occult history. Or, hey, if you just want a fun, fast-paced, popcorn thriller for a trip.
On the other hand, you might want to reconsider if you're looking for something with real literary depth, if you've already started to feel a bit tired of the Dan Brown formula, or if you found the patterns in the previous books kind of frustrating.
This quote really just sums it all up perfectly. At the end of the day, The Secret of Secrets isn't trying to reinvent the wheel here. It is exactly what it promises to be, a lightning-fast page-turner that takes a formula we all know works and just applies it to the rich, new playground of Prague.
So the choice is really yours. The book delivers exactly what it promises, a thrilling, super high-speed adventure that's just packed with mystery, history, and suspense. The only question left is, will you be the one to decipher the secret of secrets?